and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have an LG washing machine that's leaking from the front due to a little hole at the bottom of the rubber door boot. So we're just going to be replacing the door boot, and you can do this by removing the dryer above and removing some panels. You can also do it right from the front. This video will show us how to do it from the front, which is a little faster, and you just need a special tool to take off the ring in the back. This front ring comes off really easy with a standard head screwdriver. You just pry it off, and then it's really easy to take off the front part of the boot off of the front panel. Once you get it free, you just push it into the spin basket to kind of get it out of the way so you can see better what you're doing, because we have to remove a little hose at the bottom down here, and also we have to remove another spring clamp on the back. So I'm using a pair of pliers to squeeze the hose clamp so I can get this out, and I notice it's all full of probably some kind of fur. So I'm going to use the pliers to get the other hose clamp off and pull out this little connector, and I'll clean that out later too. And then I'll take off the other hose clamp, get that out of the way. And next thing I'll do is remove the ring in the back here. This is using a special tool. We'll put a link in the description below. It's kind of expensive for this tool, but it really does make it a lot faster and easier to get off this back spring clamp, which is kind of hard to get off without the tool. It's even a little bit hard to do with the tool. So I'm going to catch it on this little ring on the spring, and then there's another ring above the spring, and the pliers, what they do is they stretch that spring, and that allows me to pull the back of the boot off of the tub, and the gasket and the ring come off at the same time. And I'll go ahead and pull them both out, and here is the back ring, which is a little tricky to get on and off without that tool. This is kind of how that tool works. So part of it goes into the upper part of the spring, the part with the hook, and the other part has a notch. It goes into this little part above it, and then when you squeeze, it pulls the spring and gets it up over this hook, and then when you let it drop on the hook, it locks the spring clamp in position under a lot of tension, and that's what holds it on. So I'm going to go ahead and clean out that little hole there. That hose was full of probably dog fur. Pretty common, they get clogged. But if you don't unclog them, then the bottom part of the boot will always be full of water. It's more likely to get kind of moldy in there. So cleaning this is a good idea. It helps it to drain, and then there's less water, less chance of mold. So I'm just going to clear out this little connector piece full of junk. Pretty common. And I'm going to push that connector piece back in. What I like to do now is to put the hose clamp way down. There's two hose clamps that we're going to use on reassembly. I like to put one of them way down on the black tube as far as I can, kind of get it out of the way. And then I put another hose clamp right above it. And that's going to make it easier a little bit later in the procedure to get the door boot hooked back up. So the vice grips really help. You can just use regular pliers, but they just make it a little bit easier. All right, I'm going to clean that tub a bit. That plastic tub is full of some dog fur, probably some black mold too. And then we can go ahead and put the new door boot on, and we actually lubricate it with some type of liquid soap. Probably the just regular washing machine soap is good. This little hole at the bottom, we want to lubricate that. and we want to lubricate inside this ridge. This is the part of the boot that goes onto the plastic tub, on the rim of the plastic tub. It's kind of cool, it just snaps right on, and you're going to be able to do that by using both thumbs of each hand to kind of push in inch by inch. We start at the top and then we work down to the right and to the left, and we finish on the bottom. And the LG door boot goes on pretty easy. Some of the other brands not so much, but the Whirlpool and the LG, Samsung are pretty easy to do. So we got that whole rim slippery, and it's just the inside portion, that's the part that's going to connect to the plastic. So I'm going to wipe off my hands so they're not slippery, and then I'm going to go ahead and push the door boot into the hole with this thing at the top. This triangle looking thing will be at the top, 6 o'clock, or the 12 o'clock position. I'm going to go and push it in, and the loose part of the boot, I'll stuff that like we did before into the spin basket, just to get it out of the way and so I can see a little bit better. These holes should be at the bottom. Okay, that's good. Now I can see better. Now I'll start getting the rubber boot up over the plastic rim. So I'm going to use the two hands starting at 12 o'clock, and I'm pushing out a little bit to the left, just 1 inch at a time. And then I'll go a little bit to the right, and I'll just keep working it around. It should kind of feel like it snaps into place. So you have to push in pretty hard with your thumbs. So I'm going down here to right around 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7, down to 6. And don't worry if the whole boot seems to be sliding a little to the right or to the left as you do this, it's okay. Because once it's all the way on, you can actually slide the boot to get it lined up better with that little hose at the bottom. Okay, that's clicked in really good. Now I'm going to just grab with both hands, slide a little bit to the left here to line it up better. And now it's time to put on that back ring, and that tool comes in hand again to do this. Just confirming with my thumbs that I can feel that that door gasket is definitely on fully all the way around on that rim. So here comes the metal big ring, spring tension ring, and I'm going to put the whole spring area over to the right at 3 o'clock. Just going to make sure I get that into the rubber groove in the back. You can feel there's a groove that it fits right into. All right, there's the top of the spring. It has to hook onto the hook, and these pliers will help me do it. I grab the spring with the hook part of the pliers. The part with the notch goes into the little piece right here, and then I'm going to squeeze, and that's going to pull the spring up onto the hook. And I have to kind of move the pliers around. I'm pulling the whole tub toward me so I can see better. And there's a lot of pliability with that tub, so you can move it quite a bit. I'm going to keep moving the pliers around, changing the angle until I feel like that spring goes over the hook and then I can let go with the pliers. There we go. Now we'll get the pliers out of there. That's the hardest part. We're just eyeballing it, making sure it's totally on there. All right, I'll go ahead and get this little hose hooked up now. So I'm going to use some kind of skinnier type pliers or skinnier vice grips to clamp in on the hose clamp. Then I'm going to put the gray rubber boot over the white plastic connector, and then I'll slide the hose clamp up over the gray rubber, and then I'll let go with the pliers to lock it on. Again, you could just use regular pliers, just vice grips to me seem easier. I'm going to grab the lower spring clamp and raise it up a little bit too, so it's really grabbing tight onto that connector. Looks good. So I'll go ahead and put on the front rim, which is a lot easier. Just going to sped this up a little bit. Just going to use your thumbs to get that over the edge. Once it's on, what we do is we lubricate the entire spring clamp with some of that liquid washing machine detergent so it's slippery, and then we can get that to go right onto the rubber ridge on the front of the door boot. That holds on the front. This part may hurt your thumbs a little bit when you put on that metal clamp, but it's just for a second or two. Make sure you get it nice and slippery first. All right, I'm going on at 12 o'clock. I'm going to stretch it out to the two sides. I'll get the spring down at 6 o'clock at the bottom. I'm going to use my thumbs. I'm going to push, stretch it, and push in to get that spring to go over that rubber lip. And got it. So that should do the trick, and then we'll just test it next. You could literally do this in easily in 20 minutes. And if you don't have that tool, I think if you remove the front panels and all, you could probably do it without the tool. So I'm cleaning the glass bowl, this area that comes in contact with the rubber boot, because if there's any dog fur or anything in the lower aspect, it'll create a little bit of a leak at the bottom, kind of a slow leak. So you can get that really clean. All right, just testing it now. Agitation looks great, no leaks. I'll set it for drain and spin. Press start, and that's just going to drain out that water, but it worked great. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching our video. We really appreciate you coming to our channel. Please subscribe when you get a chance by pressing the subscribe button and also the bell button so we can send you notifications of any new videos that come along. And we have a new thing here called the applaud button. If you really liked the video, if it was helpful to you, if you can click that, we really appreciate that. It shows your interest in our channel and your support, and can't thank you enough. Feel free to contact me at the email listed below, which is scottthefixitguy@yahoo.com, with any of your questions. And also, if you need to have a FaceTime meeting with me or a Zoom meeting, you can click on one of the links below in the description, and we can set up a 15-minute or 30-minute video conference where we can work on your appliance problem. So thanks again for all your support and for watching the video.